Have you ever wondered about the real story behind the legendary Cleopatra, the last pharaoh of Egypt? Our journey begins in the heart of ancient Egypt, 69 years before the birth of Christ. Born into the opulence of the Ptolemaic dynasty, Cleopatra was destined for greatness from the start. Her lineage traced back to the mighty generals of Alexander the Great, an ancestry that promised power and prestige. Yet it was not just her royal blood that set her apart. Cleopatra was a woman of extraordinary intellect and cunning, a trait that would become her trademark in the years to come. Raised in the grandeur of Egyptian courts, she was exposed to the intricate workings of politics and power from an early age. This was a world of alliances and betrayals, a stage upon which she was destined to play a pivotal role. But Cleopatra was not just a bystander in this grand spectacle. She was a keen observer and a quick learner, absorbing the nuances of political maneuvering that would serve her well in her future reign. Cleopatra's intelligence was truly remarkable. Not only was she well versed in the art of governance, but she was also a polyglot, fluent in as many as 7 languages. This linguistic prowess allowed her to communicate with foreign dignitaries without the need for interpreters, a skill that gave her an edge in negotiations and diplomatic relations. Her early life was not without its share of challenges. The struggle for power within the royal family was fierce, and Cleopatra had to navigate the treacherous waters of palace intrigue. Yet she was not deterred. Her determination and ambition guided her, propelling her towards her destiny as Egypt's last pharaoh. Cleopatra didn't just inherit her throne, she fought for it. The pathway to power for young Cleopatra was far from a smooth journey. It was filled with political intrigue, strategic alliances, and even a famous liaison with one of history's most renowned figures. At the tender age of 18, Cleopatra was thrust into a co-regency with her younger brother, Ptolemy XIII. It was a tumultuous time, as the siblings were, in reality, locked in a bitter power struggle. The stakes were high. The prize, control of the mighty Egyptian empire, a realm that had stood strong for thousands of years, a jewel coveted by many. The young queen was not to be underestimated, though. Cleopatra was not just a figurehead, but a woman of remarkable political acumen. She understood that her reign depended on her ability to navigate the treacherous waters of power, and navigate she did, with a finesse that belied her tender years. With surprising insight, she forged ties with powerful figures and entities that could bolster her claim to the throne. Perhaps the most famous of these alliances was with Julius Caesar, the formidable Roman general. This was not merely a romantic entanglement, but a strategic move of political chess. Cleopatra fortified her position against her brother by aligning herself with Caesar and solidified her hold on the Egyptian throne. But her ascension to power was not without its trials. There were obstacles to overcome, enemies to outwit. Yet Cleopatra proved herself equal to the task. She faced each challenge with a determination that was as unyielding as the pyramids themselves. By the time she assumed solo reign, Cleopatra had already demonstrated that she was a queen of substance, a woman who was as astute in politics as she was captivating in person. She was a woman who had fought for her throne and won. Cleopatra's reign was a period of immense change and growth for Egypt. Cleopatra was no mere puppet on a throne. She was an active leader, always at the helm, steering the ship of her kingdom towards prosperity. She was a shrewd diplomat, using her charisma and political alliances to maintain Egypt's independence. A perfect example of this was her relationship with Mark Antony. Their connection was more than just a romance. It was a strategic bond that significantly bolstered Egypt's standing on the world stage. Together, they dreamt of a Mediterranean empire with Alexandria, not Rome, at its heart. Cleopatra was also a visionary when it came to domestic policies. She promoted agriculture, increased trade, and even introduced a new coinage system, which propelled Egypt's economy forward. Her reign was marked by an era of economic stability and growth, resulting from her pragmatic approach to governance. She also understood the importance of culture and identity. Despite being a descendant of a Greek dynasty, she embraced Egyptian customs, becoming the first in her family to learn the native language. This endeared her to her subjects, uniting them under her leadership and strengthening their national identity. Cleopatra's relationship with Mark Antony was as much political as it was personal. Antony, a powerful Roman triumvir, offered Cleopatra a strategic ally against common threats. Together, they formed a formidable power bloc, one that sought to challenge Rome's supremacy and redefine the political landscape of the Mediterranean world. Their shared vision for Egypt's future was one of prosperity, autonomy, and strength. Despite her many challenges, Cleopatra navigated the treacherous waters of politics and power with a deft hand. She understood the delicate balance of maintaining Egypt's independence while forming strategic alliances. She was a queen, a diplomat, a strategist, and a visionary who left an indelible mark on her kingdom. The rise of Cleopatra was meteoric, but so was her fall. Cleopatra's demise was a complex tapestry of political intrigue, war, and personal tragedy. As enchanting as she was, her charm could not stave off the inevitable. Her downfall was set in motion by a series of events that led to a grand conflict, the war with Octavian. Octavian, later known as Augustus Caesar, was Julius Caesar's adopted son and heir. He was a shrewd politician who saw Cleopatra as a threat to Rome's power. Cleopatra, on the other hand, was desperate to keep Egypt independent. These conflicting interests ignited a war, a clash of powerhouses that would define the end of Cleopatra's reign. The war was brutal and costly. Cleopatra and her lover Mark Antony fought valiantly, but Octavian's forces were too strong. The Battle of Actium in 31 BC was the decisive confrontation. It was a crushing defeat for Cleopatra and Mark Antony. Their dreams of a joint Roman-Egyptian empire crumbled on that fateful day. In the aftermath of the Battle of Actium, Mark Antony received false news of Cleopatra's death. Overwhelmed by grief, he took his own life. When Cleopatra learned of Antony's death, she was inconsolable. Her world as she knew it had collapsed. With her lover gone and her kingdom in ruins, Cleopatra chose to meet her end on her own terms. She orchestrated her suicide, a final act of defiance against Octavian. It's widely believed that she used a venomous asp to deliver the fatal bite, though the truth of this remains shrouded in mystery. In life, Cleopatra was a queen of unparalleled allure and intellect. In death, she became a legend. Her tragic end was a poignant reminder of her enduring love for Mark Antony and a symbol of her indomitable spirit. Cleopatra may be gone, but her legacy continues to captivate us. And how could it not? This woman, this queen, this icon has transcended centuries, her story echoing down through the ages. Cleopatra's influence on popular culture is as profound as it is pervasive. From Shakespeare's tragic Antony and Cleopatra to Elizabeth Taylor's mesmerizing performance in the 1963 film Cleopatra, her life and her persona have been immortalized time and time again. We see her not only as the last pharaoh of Egypt, but also as a symbol of beauty, power, and seduction. But let's not forget that Cleopatra was more than just a glamorous figurehead. She was a ruler, a diplomat, a military strategist, and a scholar. She reigned over Egypt at a time of great political turmoil, maintaining her country's independence against the expanding Roman Empire. Her reign was marked by economic prosperity and significant cultural developments. Even in her death, Cleopatra has left a lasting impact. Her dramatic end, choosing to die rather than be paraded in defeat, has been interpreted as a final act of defiance against her Roman conquerors. This act, along with her life story, have contributed to Cleopatra's enduring image as a powerful and seductive ruler. Today, Cleopatra continues to be relevant in modern discussions about female power and leadership. Her story evokes questions about the role of women in power and the challenges they face. She serves as a reminder that women can be strong leaders, can command respect, and can change the course of history. In Egypt, her legacy is still very much alive. She is remembered as a great queen who fought for her country's independence and worked tirelessly to ensure its prosperity. Many consider her to be one of the most influential figures in Egypt's long history. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.